So, when you think about the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, you're probably picturing court documents and news headlines, right? But what if the key to really understanding it all wasn't in any of that? What if it was actually hidden in a guide for personal discipline? Today, we're diving into a source that makes that exact and pretty wild connection. Let's see how it all plays out.
Okay, so the source we're looking at kicks things off with this really intriguing phrase. It paints a picture of this meticulously planned operation, and it says, the core of the scandal wasn't just a crime, it was a system. A system built on one thing: information. Information captured by what it calls a sharp-minded, powerful recording.
So let's start at the beginning. According to this source, the story starts with Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, his official title was finance expert. But the source argues that his real currency, the thing he was really trading in, wasn't money. It was secrets.
All right, now picture this. The source zooms us in on one very specific place, a private island, Little St. James, and it describes this as the hub, the center of the spider web, where celebrities and powerful people were brought into contact with underage girls. This is where the stage was set for the whole system of control we're about to get into.
And this is where the analysis gets really interesting, because the source says this goes way beyond just individual actions. It portrays this not as a series of isolated, awful incidents, but as a carefully constructed system. A system designed for one single purpose: to get leverage, to get control over the powerful.
So, what's at the heart of this system? The source gives it a name: a data center. But, don't think servers and hard drives. Think more like a vault of secrets, a massive collection of recordings and files, all designed to be the ultimate weapon for blackmail.
And who was this whole data center aimed at? Well, according to the source, it was a global elite class. The entire operation was allegedly designed to ensnare these individuals, creating this hidden network of influence and control that stretched all across the world.
And look, the source isn't shy about naming names. It lists some of the most powerful men in the world. It alleges that these files contain compromising material on figures like Donald Trump, Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, and Bill Gates, essentially pulling all of them into this web of control.
Okay, so we've got this picture of a vast conspiracy, right? A system of control targeting the world's elite. But right here is where this analysis does something completely unexpected. It argues that to really understand this system, we can't just look at the powerful people. We have to look at the very nature of human weakness itself.
And then the source puts the question directly to us, because it argues that the same vulnerabilities that were exploited in these powerful people, well, they exist, in some form or another, in all of us. And that, right there, is where the real story begins.
So, this is the crucial point. The source reframes the entire Epstein scandal. It's not the disease, it's just a symptom. A symptom of what? Of a widespread lack of personal morality. The argument is that the vulnerability of these powerful people came from a fundamental failure of individual character and self-discipline.
So if the problem is a lack of personal discipline, what's the solution? This is where we get to the whole second half of the analysis. And the source doesn't propose some political or legal fix. No, it offers a deeply personal one, rooted in a very specific spiritual framework.
The source explicitly points to the Quran as providing a complete guide. It presents these teachings as a blueprint for managing your personal life and your emotions. The very things it claims were completely lacking in the individuals caught up in the scandal.
So how does this actually work in practice? Well, the source lays out a three-step path to what it calls natural discipline. And it all starts with what you let into your mind through your senses.
So why focus so much on the senses? The source connects this ancient wisdom to a very modern-sounding idea: mastering your own mind. The ultimate goal isn't just about good behavior, it's about fundamentally rewiring your own internal state.
Here's the core argument. Your mind is shaped by what you feed it. By taking conscious control of what you see and hear, your eyes and ears, the source claims you can directly influence and manage your brain patterns, which is what leads to that state of natural discipline.
And this slide just illustrates the entire idea perfectly. On one side, you have the world of the files, a total lack of discipline that leads to external control and moral decay. On the other side, the source presents the Quran's framework, a path to natural discipline that leads to internal control and personal morality. It's a stark contrast between two completely different ways of being.
So we're left with this really provocative final thought that comes out of this unique analysis. The source draws a direct line from a massive global scandal all the way down to an intimate, personal solution. And it leaves us all to wonder, is the ultimate answer to vast systemic corruption really found within the discipline of the individual?